Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Shakespeare book tag. I'm not entirely sure who created it, but I saw it on Brian Bookish's channel. So I will be linking his video down below, as well as listing the prompts. Prompt number 1. What was your first exposure to Shakespeare? My first exposure to Shakespeare was in the classroom. I was in the 8th grade and taking drama class, and we read bits of Romeo and Juliet. I think we were going to do some kind of performance of the play. And then the following year in freshman English, we read Romeo and Juliet again, which seems to be the universal first experience of Shakespeare. Prompt number 2. Which Shakespeare plays and poems have you read? This might take a while. I think I've read all of the sonnets. And as for the plays, I've read Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, Hamlet, The Taming of the Shrew, Midsummer Night's Dream, Measure for Measure, Merchant of Venice, Titus Andronicus, King Lear, Macbeth, Othello, Cymbeline, The Tempest, Richard II, Henry IV 1. I don't know about Henry IV 2, Henry V, and Richard III are the plays I can remember that I've read. Mostly in an academic setting, although I think I've read Titus Andronicus initially independently, and I think I've read Othello independently. But I took in college a Shakespeare class where we read quite a number of the plays. Prompt number 3. Which have you seen, either on stage or on film? So, on stage, I've seen 2. Well, I've seen one and bits of another. So I've seen The Taming of the Shrew as a ballet. When I was in college, and I think it was for the Shakespeare class, the local ballet company, I'm not entirely sure what it's called in Austin, had a performance of The Taming of the Shrew. And since the Shakespeare class was part of the honors program, and the honors program had, I guess, a little extra money, we could afford to send the entire class to watch this performance as part of an assignment. And while the ballet was quite fun, I didn't particularly, The Taming of the Shrew was not the class's favorite Shakespeare play. Very much it was not our favorite play by a long shot. But I mean, the performance itself was pretty enjoyable. And then when I was in San Francisco for my brief graduate period, there was a performance in the park, I don't exactly remember the park's name, of The Tempest. And so I wanted to go, so I ended up taking the wrong bus because I think I ended up in like Daly City, and then got on the right bus, which took me to the Presidio. And from there I kind of wandered through the Presidio and that area until I eventually found where the performance was. I think I missed like the first two acts, maybe most of the third two. So I kind of hung out for maybe a few minutes, I think maybe 20 minutes or so. And then I just decided to go home because it was getting late and I'd already been lost about twice during this. So I was going to try to avoid being lost anymore and ended up still getting lost. So that was, yeah, a very trying evening. On film, obviously, I've had much better success. I've watched um, a performance. Oh, I forgot. I've also read Twelfth Night too. I watched a performance of Twelfth Night starring Helen Hunt. I think it was part of PBS's Great Performances. Obviously, the Zeffirelli Romeo and Juliet. I've never seen the more recent Baz Luhrmann version. Um, let's see here. I think I've seen the Marlon Brando Julius Caesar. Um, Obviously, I've seen the Mel Gibson version of Hamlet. Um, I've also seen the Kenneth Branagh version, and I think the Laurence Olivier. Um, I've seen the Julie Taymor Titus Andronicus. I've seen the Kenneth Branagh Henry V. I want to say I've seen the Ben Whishaw version of Richard II. I have seen the Olivier and McKellen versions of Richard III. Love the McKellen version. I've seen the Julie Taymor version of Titus. I've seen the Derek Jarman version of The Tempest and the Taymor version of The Tempest. Love both of them. Have I seen any of the others? And I think that's it. I think those are all of the filmed versions I've seen. Do you have a favorite, or prompt number 4, do you have a favorite edition of the complete works? I have only one edition of the complete works, the Bevington, which I got for my Shakespeare class, and I've kept it ever since. Which apparently there's supposed to be a CD-ROM in here, and there isn't one. So, hold this up so hopefully the tag will capture this so I can, yeah. Anyway. Prompt number 5. What is your favorite comedy? I'm going to go with The Tempest. Prospero is such a compelling figure. His masterful control of events in the play are just enjoyable. The love story of Ferdinand and Miranda is quite a joy to see. It's just, yeah, brilliant, brilliant play. Prompt number 6, what is your favorite history? Richard III. Richard III is such a compelling villain. Just absolutely compelling. Prompt number 7, what is your favorite tragedy? I'm going to go with Macbeth. Kind of was toying with going with Hamlet, but Hamlet honestly bugs me most of the time, while I really do enjoy Macbeth. Speaking of which, I did forget the Japanese versions of Shakespeare on Stage. I have seen Akira Kurosawa's Throne of Blood, which is an adaptation of Macbeth, and Ran, which is an adaptation of King Lear. Forgot about that. Sorry. Prompt number 8. What is your least favorite play? Cymbeline or The Taming of the Shrew. It's just, I mean, The Taming of the Shrew is incredibly dated by now. And it's just very, very uncomfortable. Because very much the sympathies of the audience has turned from the direction that Shakespeare would have intended it or would have expected it to. And then Cymbeline is just poop. Prompt number 9. Which play would you want to direct? Titus Andronicus. Prompt number 10. Which lesser known play do you think deserves more attention, or which lesser known play are you most excited about? Titus Andronicus for both. I really do enjoy that play, even if it is a gore fest. Bonus question. If relevant, what is your favorite play to teach, perform? I'm not a teacher and I'm not an actor, so I don't think this necessarily applies to me. But when I've done like readings for class and stuff, I've really enjoyed Titus. So I'll go with Titus. So that was the Shakespeare Tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourself tagged, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, thank you, BookTube, and stay safe.